Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in this matchup. Game 3, Hasu is spawning as the red Protoss player here at the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, on the top right-hand side of the map, we do have XLorD spawning as the blue Zerg. So Hasu versus XLorD once more, and I did not realize that I've never cast a game on this map, and it didn't even tell me the name of this map at the start of the game. Alright, so I'm going to be asking all of you guys out there, if you guys do keep track of the games here, what map is this called? Let's take a quick look at it. It does remind me a bit of Tall Dream Altar, but then that's where the similarities end besides the tile set. There is a main base here, two gas, and a very wide open base. Now for those of you guys who do use Reapers, there is no connection here at all, and now it simply leads to a natural expansion. This natural expansion here is pretty well protected, and you do have a ramp leading in. From here you have an option of a third base high ground or a third base high ground here, depending on what you want to do. Normally I would assume that this is the typical third base, as it does limit the amount of surface area or just map control you need, since you want to be scouting out this location anyway, just in case there's any sort of air attacks. Now from there, the number of options that you have for additional bases do continue to unravel. This could potentially be a fourth base. For Zerg, it would be down over here, and this base does look, or this setup does look very Zerg happy in the number of expansions. All right, Probe now does find his way down over here, and will he be, yes, able to block a hatchery from coming into position? Hasu getting a little bit lucky, being able to scouting early and knowing where exactly his opponent is. So far, spawning pool is now down. The Probe realizes that it does need to get away, as the Overlords are going to quickly deduce where his opponent is simply by where his opponent is not. Now, there is a supply depot here that is actually raised up on the high ground. A raised supply depot does act as part of that wall. We'll see what will be happening next, as we should be getting a gateway here. It is going to be the game of expansions, as a drone now attempting to take down this pylon. Zergling's going to be getting in there as well, and a little bit of larva and mining time lost as this pylon continues to block his opponent. Are we going to see XLorD establish up another base at the 4-minute 30-second mark? That is another key question here, as the Probe is already there waiting. All right, let's see. A drone is going to be slipping its way over as well. Zergling's going to be making their way over, as the Probe realizes that it needs to get away if it wants to live and fight another day. It is going to slip away here, and now it's going to be up to the Zerglings to try and figure out if there is a proxy pylon, or if this Probe will even establish a proxy pylon. So quickly running around into that corner there. So it is going to be a 3-base XLorD building at about the 4-minute 30-second mark. We've seen this play before coming in from XLorD, and we'll see how it handles for him this time around. All right, one Zergling is going to catch this Probe. All right, the Probe now trying to make its way in. It will actually be able to spot that base now being placed down. So that was very important. The Probe did spot it. Yes, the Probe did spot it, and now making its way back. We do have a gateway here and a photon cannon on the front door. Zerglings will not be able to charge or be able to slip through here because of that narrow walkway. Hatchery about to be completed here. This hatchery over here at the natural expansion already done. 3 bases to 2, as we are now making our way into the mid game. Now in game 2, we did see a very strong 2-base essential all in by Hasu, and Hasu was able to utilize those force fields very effectively. Immortals very effective as well, always making sure that the Immortals were not the ones taking the damage. Even though the Immortals are known as the tankier, beefier units, that was actually the main source of damage coming in from the Protoss army, getting off 50 damage per shot. Very effective against both buildings and those roaches. Stalker is now trying to chase after those Zerglings, not going to be able to get into position at all, as this one Stalker stops here. Overlord up on the high ground will keep track of this front door. We are going into 3 gas play coming in from Hasu. Will he be going into 4 gas play, as XLorD now looks to get in very heavy drone count once again. Drone count is now 40-40 after 7 drones from XLorD just moments ago. We are now transitioning into metabolic boost, and perhaps we will be seeing a tech to tier 2 momentarily. So far, the Zerg style of just minerals for as long as you can to get a strong economy and then get up a lot of gas and taking the tier 2, very, very comfortable play as XLorD now goes into a Roach War. But I'm still curious as to when he will be taking the tier 2 and establishing these additional extractors. And the answer is right now on both accounts. Alright, level 1 weapons upgrade could be coming in momentarily. Zerglings are now looking to back away once more. Level 1 weapons upgrade. Level 1 weapons upgrade now coming in on the Forge over here as one Overlord does back off just in time as we do have an Observer in the air. Now, Observer first does pretty much tip the hand as the fact that there is already a robotics facility down. Is Hasu really going to be able to chrono boost out the necessary Immortals to do a repeat of the last game? Observer already moving across the map, and this map is rather large, which will really benefit XLorD as the movement speed upgrade and the proper time to respond with all of these creep tumors down is going to really push things in his favor. So far, one Overlord off over here at the 9 o'clock position. Observer still flying around in the center of the map, keeping track, making sure that there is not going to be any traps for these units to walk into as the Stalkers, Sentries, and Immortals quickly finish off a Zergling or two. Now, we are running on only 4 warp gates right now. Additional warp gates perhaps should be established here in just a moment. And this timing looks like Hasu is actually looking to establish up a 3rd base. So this is going to turn into a much more longer macro game than what we saw in the previous matchup. So far, XLorD sitting on 15 drones at the natural here. Very, very strong, heavy drone saturation at each of his bases. As the Observer now doing a quick flyby and keeping track of what's going on economically speaking. 64 drones, 54 probes. We are now going into a Twilight Council as well as the units are on the move. Alright. Drones now just currently mining away back inside the main base. We are attacking the tier 2 Glio reconstitution, about to be researched as an Observer, just barely able to slip away. He doesn't need to outfly the Queen, he needs to outfly the Overseer, and that Overseer, who does not have any movement speed upgrades, pretty much unable to catch up. XLorD walked into a trap there, as you see a whole bunch of roaches now taken down. Let's take a look at the total losses. 961 versus 100. Beautifully done, as we now are adding a gateway wall, something reminiscent of Metalopolis back in the days in seasons 1 through 3 of StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. Over here, we'll see whether or not XLorD is going to be trying to establish up a 4th base. There is an Observer sitting right here, and this could also be a potential base as well. XLorD does not want to allow Hasu to get running up on 3 bases unless he can get up to 4 bases himself. Robotics Bay and another robotics facility coming in. It is going to be dual Colossi strategy coming in from Hasu, and that was the strategy that we saw in Game 1. It was not successful in Game 1 though, even though he did get a large number of Colossi, still unable to handle the sheer number of roaches that XLorD was able to produce. Alright, Observer still flying around here. Roaches now once again on the move. Robotics Bay, robotics facility now being completed as we are going into 1 Colossus. Are we going into that 2nd Colossi? No 2nd Colossi, no extended thermal lance range as of yet, as Stalkers are still being warped in. Blink now nearing completion, as well as we are going into an Immortal, so it is going to be double Immortals. He got the Robotics Bay, but then decided to stop it once he saw the sheer number of roaches. A beautiful response there, as Immortals do tend to shut down these roaches rather easily. And now what will be happening next? The roaches now trying to back away. We see more Immortals still being added. The Immortals getting added 2 at a time as the Stalkers and Immortals trying to do this engagement here. Zerglings now looking to finish off this set of destructible rocks, and this could be a bit of trouble as the Zerglings and the roaches look to push down pressure. Meanwhile, off over here, Overlords are pushing into what may be a doom drop here in just a moment. All the units off to the north. Changelings unable to sneak their way in, though, as enough of an attack force is coming in here. XLorD feigning that he's trying to come in with a really strong attack, but now coming in with a drop. The drop could look to deal a lot of damage. The units need to get over there and in a hurry. Immortal now going to squeeze in through there as the majority of the forces still off over here. Here we go. Stalkers have responded, and XLorD pretty much getting destroyed over here at the natural expansion and also here at the third base. Things are looking very good for Hasu. Hasu responding and reacting very well. More Stalkers still reinforcing Immortals, firing from the backfield, and now even those Overlords who dropped off their kids may not be able to escape. Taking a look at the overall losses, 6,500 versus 1775. Let's take a look at the unit count and production tab. We see tunneling claws, roaches, and zerglings now being added as Hasu looks to strike while the iron is hot. He does have a supply advantage right now, but a new round of spawn larva could be coming off any moment, and as soon as those Overlords are out, you know that XLorD is going to be training up a lot more units. Stalkers are now in position. Is it too little, too late? That is going to be the question. Those Stalkers are now backing off as the roaches are trying to engage here. Roaches do have that tunneling claw upgrade, and will they be able to slip through as they are now trying to get off of creep? Protoss army does not want to engage on creep if they can help it. Otherwise, they will get surrounded rather quickly. Overlords are now backing away all over here as the roaches are now starting to do another move into this main base here. Zergling's now going to perhaps try to take this down. Zealot in position. Just gets there in time to prevent a run by as the Stalkers and Immortals are going to perhaps catch some more units in transit. Stalkers now coming in here. They could blink forward. There you go. Finishing off many of those roaches. The Immortals are in the back still with a beautiful range of 6 in a lot of shots. And this is just not a good composition of units for XLorD. Roaches dealing with blink Stalkers and those Immortals. The Stalkers could start peeling back. No, they could just blink forward instead and get off another kill or two on some of those roaches who are still running away. Double expansions now coming in from XLorD. Is it going to be enough? Hasu knows about the expansion here. Doesn't know about this expansion here, though, as Changelings are now making their way down. Stalkers looking to perhaps take down more of these creep tumors. Roaches now coming in along that far side as a whole bunch of Zealots are now trying to make their way in. Or sorry, Changelings now trying to make their way in with the rest of that army. One Stalker keeping track as that one Changeling, or all four of those Changelings, will get destroyed. Stalker now coming back and trying to regroup. Protoss army sitting at 3-0 upgrades. Zerg army still sitting at 2-0 upgrades, soon to be 1-1 upgrades even for the melee, and this could be very important. No armor upgrades for the Protoss could allow the Zerglings to just simply run rabid inside and get in a very fast surround. Photon cannons are off over here. We are now adding in a fleet beacon, which means most likely mothership, not the carrier, unfortunately, as the roaches are now ready to go. Infestors are in position. Mass roaches and infestors ready to go. Where are they going to be moving to next? And where will they be trying to attack? It is going to be 4 bases now. 4 bases to 5 as the Zerglings are now running in off over here. There are photon cannons in position. Zerglings getting picked off rather quickly as the roaches are now trying to run in here. Stalkers and Immortals could perhaps try to engage as we see a nice bit of split attack. Probes now making their way into a very, very bad situation. They need to be able to back off here as all the photon cannons have pretty much been destroyed. Fleet beacon is now down. Stalkers could blink forward here and perhaps save this base. It looks like that will be the case as the roaches unable to get past the force fields here. A war on 2 fronts continually as the Zealot, a very gung-ho Zealot, runs straight into a group of Zerglings and roaches. So far, the units are backing again. XLorD still in a bit of trouble, losing more than twice his opponent. He does have a stronger economy, but right now he is sitting in with a 30 supply discrepancy, and he desperately needs a greater spire for Brood Lords. Off over here, a whole bunch of Overlords hiding off in the corner. We could perhaps see 1 Void Ray or 2 Void Rays just completely... Wow, 1 or 2 Void Rays completely destroy all of the supply here as the Stalkers are now making their way forward. 3 Colossi I believe that's 3 or 4 Immortals. Yeah, 3 Immortals. A very strong composition of units as the Stalkers are just going to simply run in here, take down the Queen, and now look to take down the economies. Roaches are now going to be falling. Here comes the Colossi. Stalkers are not blinking backwards, though, as we do see the engagement. Corruptors now looking to come in. One Colossus may get taken down. No, it does not, as all the Corruptors are now out of the air. Stalkers are getting fungal growth. Infested Terrans now coming in, as Zerglings now trying to come in from the far side as well. That is a whole bunch of infested Terran eggs. Those infested Terrans going to cause a bit of problems as the Infestors unable to finish it off. And there is the GG from XLorD. Hasu taking the game here in a rather impressive fashion. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 3 in this best of 3 series.